Continue with these candidate conversations that we've been having on the air. The final candidate conversation for the week is 35th District Representative Dan Griffey. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for coming in.
I like the studio. You guys really pulling this thing together.
We're doing something.
Great.
We're doing something. Thank you much. And flattery will get you everywhere. Now, we're going to have a good conversation here. We were going to have a forum. The weather did not cooperate, and so for everybody's safety, we postponed it, bringing folks on the morning show here. So first off, Dan, if someone's listening for the first time and hearing you for the first time, tell us why they should return you to the House of Representatives.
Yeah, thank you. Good question. I originally ran on seeing if we could do something on Mason to help Mason County with private property ownership rights. Those of you who have heard me give this speech understand that it's near and dear to my heart. The Growth Management Act is not enforced the same in rural communities as it is in urban communities, and I want to level the playing field, give us an ability in the rural communities to be the master of our own destiny, to encourage economic development, keep jobs in our area, or bring some jobs to our area. And that was my main impetus, but after getting elected, I have found so many other things that people and groups that need help, from a bill that I worked on with Casey Kasem's daughter, to hopefully end elder isolation abuse, to ending the statute of limitations on sex crimes. My plate is very full, and I plan to keep it that way.
Now, one of the things that you do focus on and are proud of is the work that you're working towards to getting all rape kits that are collected to be tested. I don't know the number of those that are outstanding. If you have that number, if you could share it with me, and then how are we going to pay for all these tests? It's
nearly 6,000 outstanding kits right now. Now, there's a task force that's doing a sampling of them, and we're just pulling random 30 out to see if we can get a CODIS, and the CODIS is a database that you put the DNA into. So if we could get a CODIS hit. So a DNA profile that could actually be uploaded to the database. Out of the last 30 that we did, it was pretty terrible. We only had 2 CODIS database hits that we could actually put into CODIS. Most of them, the paperwork wasn't filled out properly. So we need to know this, right? These were older kits. Some of the oldest kits that were still sitting on the shelves. We've revamped the kit to where the instructions on the collection evidence and the hand-to-hand, how you hand off the evidence is going to happen, how the sealing tape's going to use, all that kind of stuff. We've worked all that out. But sadly, most of the 30 that we did at the random sample had to be thrown away because of that. They were inadmissible. A couple of them, unfortunately, they were false accusations. So then that can't get you a CODIS hit. So, how we're going to pay for it. The first way that we were looking at was putting a surcharge on the entrance fee to gentlemen's clubs or strip clubs.
Okay. And
we believe there's a nexus there. A nexus means cause and effect. So anyway, so we believe that would be the place to do it. Now, obviously, the gentlemen's clubs owners don't like it, but that's how we believe we can pay for it.
Okay. An interesting route for sure. Let's see. Other things that I know that you are strong in is the Second Amendment, and folks who need help, who can't defend themselves. So I got to ask you about Initiative 1491. This is the risk protection orders. The whole state is going to be voting on this year. Tell me your thoughts on this Initiative 1491, and does it sway more towards taking away Second Amendment rights, or does it sway more to being able to truly help those who can't help themselves?
Well, I think it has a potential of taking away someone's Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. That a potential. The biggest thing is there is a real risk that your due process rights will be circumvented. So you have right to due process before you lose any of your constitutional rights. And I'm concerned that this specific initiative, went too far. with having court order ability without having your time in front of a judge. I think it's concerning to me. That's why I'm not against this initiative. However, I did work on an idea that with a Representative Dave Hayes in Olympia, what could we do about it? Could we come up with something that, one, would protect individuals' due process rights, but understand that there may be some stability problems that we need to work on, and then make sure that they were able to get their guns back in a timely fashion.
I talked with your counterpart, Drew McEwen, earlier this week about the difference in pays versus the state patrol versus county sheriffs and things like that. An example that I hear often from some folks that I know in state patrol is that as the graduates are coming down the aisle, they get talked to by the King County specifically and other counties that can offer them more pay. So it appears to me that the state and the taxpayers are paying for this training, but then the state patrols, they're going off to work for not private, but not for the state patrol. How do you plan to lock that down?
Well, I was co-sponsor of a bill that would raise their pay by nearly 12%, and the reason we came up with 12% is the regional pay summaries that we did. We did a cost study, and the biggest reason the troopers are leaving was due to a sizable pay increase going to other jurisdictions. The other thing that we did is when we did the sampling, we asked the troopers, why are you leaving? And a lot of them are working conditions. They don't like having to be transferred all over the state of Washington. They want to have a little bit of stability built into their lives. We're taking that into consideration and trying to guide the patrol into doing something about those. We ended up getting them about a 6% pay increase, which helps. We don't know that it has gone far enough. We're about 130 some troopers, about 138 troopers down. It is getting to be pretty alarming. As a firefighter, I know we feel that shortage of troopers. We wait a long time to get a patrol deputy or patrol trooper out to do an investigation. So those are the strategies we're working on, and I think they're going to work.
So you was working hard to get those pay increases, 6% increase for that. Do you also then support the minimum wage initiative to help the rest of the workers in the state?
So I don't support that, and I'll tell you exactly why. Washington State has the highest unemployment rate from 16 to 24-year-olds in the nation. We had until all these other states were passing higher minimum wages. We had the highest minimum wage in the nation. I couldn't, in good conscience, support something that would increase that gap. We need to make sure we have more opportunities. The thing that we didn't talk about in this conversation was training wages. So how could we build in a training wage so somebody that's new to the workforce, how can we give these businesses an ability to make a good risk investment in someone, and then raising the salary doesn't give them an incentive to do a good risk investment. So the other community that is injured by this is our disabled and employed community, and exceptional forces. I was talking to them at a disability community forum that we had a couple nights ago, and they're very concerned that we need to give flexibility and an option for our employers to employ those people with disabilities, because they're going to need a little bit extra supervision. They're never going to be autonomous, most of them. Some of them can be, and with plenty of training, but how do we encourage business to invest in that community setting? So, because I believe it would increase the unemployment rate from 16 to 24-year-olds, those new to the workforce, and it would disproportionately hurt some of the businesses that are just barely surviving here in the 35th district. I do not support the increase to the minimum wage. It's polling very high. I have an assumption it'll pass.
Do you think, I know that the different counties, even the different districts, the 35th is very different in its makeup. The different counties throughout the whole state are very different. Should the minimum wage be tied to an average wage in a specific county and go county by county?
Well,
or district by district?
There is a problem in that way of thinking too, because say you're an employer of a trucking company, and the trucking company makes regular stops in different counties. Mm-hmm. The employee is now saying that I'm now in King County, so I have to be paid at King County's rate. So the companies really would like to see some stability. They'd like to see, a minimum floor, so they can pay the same, to that trucker or that delivery person wherever they go. So there's a lot of questions to be asked, and a lot of instability happens when you have regional salaries instead of a kind of a statewide salary.
One more question here on helping the elderly. We have another initiative. There's a lot of initiatives this year that the state is voting on. It's 1501. This would increase ID theft penalties and expand civil liabilities for consumer fraud, targeting seniors and the vulnerable. I'm hearing a lot from both sides on this issue. Where do you come on that one?
So I think the initiative comes from a good position, but I think they wrote too much in the initiative, as usually happens. And we got to look at why the initiative was written in the first place. And the major reason for it is the state labor unions are in a kind of a let's just say not a fight, but a friendly competition with another organization, and it was targeted to fix that. I think that some of the public information requests that can be done and should be done, we need to change. I think as public employees, just because you're a public employee, you shouldn't be able to get personal identifiers, where you live, your social security numbers, those sort of things. I'm very concerned about that. And so this was kind of packaged to fix one thing, but it's really to do another, if that makes any sense. So I really don't like initiatives that kind of hide something, what they really want to do. So I'll be voting no on it, but I believe we need to fix the issue. And personal identifier information shouldn't be a public information request, especially for any public employee. You shouldn't be able to know where they live and those kind of things. Harassment has happened and can continue to happen. So I'll be working on legislation to see if we can tighten those up a little bit.
Let's see, we have time for one more question here. So let's talk about education, and this is the session. You get reelected this time. This has got to be the one that we finally, hopefully, put to rest the whole McCleary decision.
Yeah.
Do you have one specific thing that you'd like to put forth, sponsor, right, to help move us forward, getting this all fixed up?
Well, what I like to, how I answer this question, I answer it the same way every time, is I believe what's going to happen is some sort of levy equalization and levy swap. I believe that's going to be the major component to fixing the McCleary problem that we have. I think that you're going to see a regulatory reform bill. Representative McEwen's working on one at this point in time that I will be supporting wholeheartedly and be co-sponsoring the bill with him. So those regulations that cause the school or force the school to act in a certain manner that actually costs a lot of money, we would like to see those regulations removed and let them manage kind of their local spending, their local dollars, which I believe we can credit back to ourselves as a McCleary compliant funding mechanism. And then I think you're gonna see the basic per pupil reimbursement rate goes from somewhere in the neighborhood. We're at around $12,000 per pupil. You'll see it level out around $14,000. This is what I think is going to happen. I'm pretty sure. The McCleary work group is working on it right now, and I'm hoping that the suggestions that come out of the McCleary work group will get us to where we need to go. But my educated guess is that 3-part fix is what we're going to do to comply with McCleary.
So finally, people are looking at their ballots. There's 11 days left. They see your name there on the ballots today, and give them one more reason why they should vote for you, not your opponent.
Well, I don't talk about my opponent ever, but I never stop working. When it comes to working with the locally electeds to make sure that we can be masters of our own destiny, I do. If it is that we need a cheerleader on an issue, I want to do that. If we have to pass a bill on the issue, I want to do that. But I never stop working. This job is more than a full-time job. It's probably a two-time, double-time job, I guess.
Yeah.
If you will. But I guess that's why I think I would vote for somebody, the hard work. So I would encourage people to vote for me because I'll work very hard for you.
Dan Griffey is running for re-election, and you can find his name on the ballot here today for 35th District Representative in the first position. Thanks, Drew, for coming in. I'm sorry, Dan, for coming in.
It only happens once or twice a year.
I was looking at both of your names here on this sheet. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.